Ohio State University College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Science is a driving force throughout rural Ohio, and in particular, its South Centers located in Piketon, Ohio. The South Centers provides research and educational formats in a number of areas, including horticulture, fruits and vegetables, soil and bioengineering, aquaculture, and business development services. Dr. Tom Worley, Director of South Centers, hosts a monthly South Centers Chat. Here's Tom.
Good morning and welcome to this edition of the South Centers Chat. It's a pleasure to be able to come to you this morning with this communications methods, and we're especially delighted that we're able to link up via Skype with our main campus up on in Columbus, and link the South Centers here at Piketon and Columbus together. And our guest this morning is the Interim Vice President for Ag Administration and Dean of the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences, Dr. Lonnie King. Welcome, Dr. King.
Thanks very much, Dr. Worley. It's nice to be with you.
Great to have you, and great to see that the technology seems to be performing well this morning, and with all the backup that you have up there with Ken and Emily and the folks here, why, I think we're going to do just fine. So would you mind, I know your background at OSU, you came as the Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine, and you had a very special career even before that in the interaction between human health and animal health. And I think that's really a unique set of experiences that you shared obviously as Dean of the Vet College and now over in Food, Ag, Environmental Science. And I think the audience might find some interest in that subject matter.
Sure, thanks again. And maybe before we start this chat, let me also just congratulate you as Director of the South Centers on your 25th anniversary and our appreciation of all the great work that's done by you and your colleagues at the centers in terms of research and business development, et cetera. It's a great asset and value to our college.
Well, we thank you for that.
So for me personally, coming back to Ohio State is coming back home. So I'm actually a graduate of an undergraduate degree and a graduate of the College of Veterinary Medicine at the Ohio State University, and my roots actually go all the way back to Worcester, Ohio, when my father was a research veterinarian at that time they called the Experiment Station, which is OARDC. Mm-hmm. So my background was in private practice and also worked for the USDA for a number of years in Washington, D.C. But then I shifted kind of careers and I worked at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in Atlanta. And I did that with an emphasis on the interface of human and animal health and the growing importance of our animals and our animal products in human health. So I actually came from Atlanta back to the College of Veterinary Medicine. But there's a real emphasis now in public health and agriculture. Part of that is in our food supply and food security and nutrition that comes from our animals and our animal products. And the others is that interface that also animal and animal products become a vehicle for diseases coming from animals to humans. And so a lot of my background was about those diseases, the prevention, food safety, and some of the new emerging diseases. So it's a whole new kind of area of emphasis and interest in agriculture and public health.
For the future, I think, as we talk about agriculture having to become way more productive over the next, by 2050, and these new billions of people that need to be fed as well as kept healthy, we hope. So I think your leadership at this time in our college, that kind of background certainly is a strong foundation upon which to build and a broad understanding of everything related to not only the animals but food in general, along with the environmental science aspects. And so it's great to hear about that, and a lot that I learned just in interacting on your visit when you came to Piketon last summer regarding this interaction between our health and animal health. But our real main focus today is to kind of get an update on what's going on within the college, and that encompasses many things and could go a lot of different directions. But maybe when people think of a university, we think of going to college, and students first, I think, is one of the mottos up on main campus. And with over 50,000 enrolled, why students are a big part of that, and it's a big part of our college. So maybe you want to start there and then head on over to research and the outreach extension in terms of what you are hearing and focusing and looking into the future about.
Great. That's a good place to start, because that's where our emphasis really is. And students coming into the university and to this college and preparing them, we like to say that they are employer ready and society ready, and they're wonderful young people. And it's a real pleasure to kind of work with them over the time that they're here and put them back into our communities across Ohio, especially in promoting and assisting in the #1 economy in the state. So we're right now at a watermark or watershed in terms of the number of students. So we have over 4,200 students just in the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. So that's a high mark for us. Some people say, well, young people aren't coming into agriculture anymore, and that's not true at Ohio State. We've had a growth of about 37% over the last decade in terms of students coming into the college. They're interested, of course, in traditional agriculture and new agriculture, but food science, and environmental ecology programs as well. So it's been a real growth area. These are really bright young students that come in, and they about half of them enter the college from day one, and the other half of those 4,200 actually come into the college actually after they've been at Ohio State or our regional campuses or Agriculture Technology Institute, the ATI, in Worcester. So we are attracting people from all over campus, students, whether they're in economics or social work or business, that see great careers ahead of them in agriculture and food. So it's nice to see we have students coming from all over campus. These students come in and they are prepared scientifically and technically, but they're also prepared in skills and leadership and communications and teamwork, the things that we know will also make them successful as they go out into their communities and into future jobs. We also have a record number of scholarships for these students. We have over $3 million now that are available for these students to help them with their expenses. And so access and affordability is important with them. And that also includes our ATI program, our 2-year program in Worcester, which is nationally one of the best rated. And we have about 62% of those students now coming into ATI that are first generation university students. And those students are wonderful students. Some will take their 2 years training and go back into our communities. Others will come back to campus and go further. So it's nice to see that we're able to impact our local communities across the state.
Certainly, certainly. Well, this is great news. I don't, since we don't have formal academic programs here at South Centers at Piketon, I'm not up on the numbers that you gave about that increase in enrollment over the last few years being up, I think you said 37%, but certainly a very important sector of the state's economy and the U.S. economy, and there are just so many aspects. And I think the point you made about many students know that they want to be in agriculture from the very beginning, but many people seem to discover agriculture and the programs in our college after they've been around a while and discover the real full scope of all of the different disciplines that are involved in the food system, if you will. And so I think that we have a great future ahead, and very, very important part of our college. And I think you did mention, too, that being employment ready, that many surveys back when I was involved in the former position out west at different university and teaching, that would rise to the top of most every employer survey about what are they looking for in their potential new employees. And communication skills, teamwork, the ability to collaborate and work with people is very important, and I think our college has that. I think the courses, no matter whether they're in agronomy, agriculture economics, in the communications where you expect that, but it's incorporated in many, many different ways. And I think that's great preparation along with the more technical side of production or processing or the research, for instance, in food science. So it would be highly technical, but the ability to work with others and to move a system forward is very, very important. We might turn a little bit to what is exciting and maybe cutting edge in the research area. I know many, many things up there take place that are highly technical and moving the needle forward and as we try to advance knowledge and try to build this capacity that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think a nice way to kind of think about that is a reminder of our roots. Mm-hmm. You know, this was one of the original colleges in 1870 that started this university. Mm-hmm. So we'll celebrate 146 years.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, that's really based on the idea of land grant. And land grant is, the principles are still very much part of our focus and emphasis. It's just we put them in a different context. Mm-hmm. So in that context, in part, is understanding the problems in our communities and focusing our research and our studies to understand those problems and develop solutions, and then turn those solutions back into our communities so people can use those tools to improve their lives, whether they're in animal health, agriculture, plant health, or human health. Mm-hmm. So a key to that is you know, the creation of new knowledge and research as we move forward. And our college is one of the best on campus in terms of our track record. Right now we have a portfolio just at Ohio Agriculture and Research and Development Center of over $150 million focused on critical research areas to understand and make these new findings and create new knowledge then on these contemporary problems that we have today. And so those problems are a lot about our environment and understanding that our future, and Tom, you mentioned the idea that we have to grow probably as much food in the next 40 years as we did in the last 500 in order to accommodate 9 billion people becoming part of the ecosystem of our planet. And that's quite a challenge for us. And research and innovation are going to be key drivers for us to be able to achieve that. So our ability then to double our food production using the same number of acres, and making sure, though, as we do that, as we squeeze our efficiencies every possible way to produce more and to produce that you know, economically, that we pay attention to the health of our water supply and quality, the health of our soils and our fields. So that combination then of increasing production and our efficiency, but still improve the quality of our environment are the real challenges that we face. And a big area in that is precision agriculture. So it is a phenomenal change that's taking place with the use of sensors and our ability then to look at, you know, you could look at 2,000 acres and look at it by centimeter, just a small square inch or more, to really understand the needs of that soil, whether that's fertilizer or water, types of seeds, and our equipment, and how well now we can integrate that strategy into actually really improving that production. So precision agriculture is a key part of that. We're right on the cutting edge of doing that. We work with equipment manufacturers and helping us put those sensors together in engineering. And then we take that data in a whole new area of research called data analytics. So the ability to handle large amounts of data and put those into supercomputers and to start making sense out of all that data and turning that back into decision making that our producers can do. The other big area, I think, of emphasis and research is going to be in the 21st. So we have traditional research, or traditional agriculture that we're helping. We also have 21st century agriculture. So those are changes in finding other possibilities to gain production in agriculture. Some of the things you're doing in the South Centers in aquaculture, and looking at how cities feed cities in terms of special greenhouses and abilities to produce in small areas, in our urban areas, to add to our agriculture production. And so we're doing a lot of work in that area right now, and those are two really exciting opportunities for us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you acknowledging the aquaculture work as well as the urban agriculture focus that we're involved with from the perspective down here, along with really kind of healthy crops in terms of berries, as especially an example of that, along with other vegetables. But it is really a opportunity, it seems, to really gather so much data is generated by and captured by this new technology. And data analytics, I'm not sure that's the name of the discovery theme, but I think that if it's not, it's very close. I think big data was the name that I remember, but data analytics, how to handle all of this information and to make sense out of it, as you say, to really improve the efficiency and the productivity of the resources that we use in agriculture, the land, the water, the air, in a sustainable way. That's part of what we have to think about, is leaving things in good enough shape that future generations can continue to thrive on our Mother Earth here as we go. Dr. King, I know we're getting just down to maybe around 5 minutes or so, and we haven't really specifically touched necessarily on extension. You mentioned it as kind of the inflow of what are the problems being faced out in the state and across the country, because as the university, we look at things that aren't confined by the borders of Ohio, but are common with other areas. And that's one aspect. The other aspect, as we discover this new knowledge, is how do we get that out to the existing farms and business owners, the communities, and Extension is the vehicle at a land-grant university that does that. Do you want to comment anything on the Extension role of the college?
Sure, and maybe just before I do that, to go back, and you mentioned the discovery themes. That is probably one of the most exciting happenings or areas on the campus.
Certainly.
Just real briefly.
Sure.
So our college is right now have 15 new researchers coming into campus, 15 that have been approved that'll be on their way to focus on three key areas. That's health and wellness, that's energy and the environment, and that's food production and food systems. So this is the only college at Ohio State of the 15 that actually will have researchers in all three of those critical areas.
Wow.
So agriculture is infused in all those areas and are part of the solution. So those are really important to us. And the areas of food security and resilient and transformative agriculture. And then another one, what we talk about on food and health. That food, as we learn about genomics and genetics of us personally and our products, can move together in terms of precision agriculture and precision medicine, and where food actually will help determine our productivity and our life expectancy and our quality of life as we move into the future. So those are the exciting areas as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And as we make those discoveries, as you pointed out so well, it's not just knowledge for knowledge's sake. It's how do you take that work and move it into our communities to improve their health. And Extension Service, who just celebrated 100 years of service a few years back, is well positioned and has been doing that for many decades. So we are proud that in every one of our 88 counties in this state, Extension Service and teams are in place.
Yes.
And those teams then, whether they're urban or whether they're rural, are engaged in those communities and the citizens of Ohio and understanding their problems, letting us know what those problems are, but then taking the solutions and our findings back to those communities so people make better decisions, whether they're about farming or production or about their health or about their environment or use of fertilizer, all of the things that people need to know in these contemporary areas and issues that we deal in that will improve their lives and their livelihood. So the Extension Service is that final point of that triad, from problem solving to discovery to turning solutions back in our communities. And we're using them in ways that we hadn't envisioned before. Not only are we hadn't envisioned them in working in urban areas. It's really important as we understand our problems in urban communities. But I think they also can take these new findings in health and wellness and help people improve their decision making.
Certainly.
They're a trusted voice. They've been in those communities for years and years. They're great educators, and they're experts in their own right. And we, by the way, just had our first meeting the other day of Extension Service in the College of Public Health.
Wow.
Where public health sees that Extension Service could really help in understanding and educating our communities in a public health ways that they can't currently do.
Sure.
So Extension is really entering a very exciting and even an important phase of their program.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we see that broadening from our perspective down here, that Extension, our specialists tend to have both an emphasis on very applied, problem-oriented research, but the delivery of those results, or even the engagement of the clientele in the initial thought about what research does happen and the directions that we should go. And I think that integrated model has served us very well, and that's just done at a great, much larger scale in the college writ large. But I think the point that you're making with our extension organization being in place all across the state, kind of been there a long, long time, and to use the word embedded in the community, know who the other partners are, what organizations do, and who to bring to the table. That's a great asset to a college like Public Health that maybe doesn't have that widespread presence, and that we can provide that, and certainly fits within what we've been talking about since the get-go about the research, the teaching to feed ourselves and keep ourselves healthy as we move forward through time. And so these are very exciting opportunities and times that we're going through, and certainly we're down to just a couple minutes left, so I would just leave that for you to kind of put a capstone on this if you have one that you'd like to share, Dr. King.
Well, thanks again. It's really nice being with you this morning. You know, I will let our listeners know that the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences, I think, is situated on campus and across the state at one of its most important times in its existence. So we can do more in touching people's lives every day than any other college on campus. And as we kind of kid each other back and forth in terms of the college kind of being on the edge of campus or on the west side of campus across the river, we really want people to know we are actually right smack in the middle of campus when it comes to partnerships. So we are involved in partnering with economics and business and public policy and public health and medicine and veterinary medicine and social work, in addition to ecology. So the college becomes more important all the time in these complex issues and helping solve those problems. So it's an exciting time to be part of Ohio State University, but especially this college, because we are more intricately related and more important to people's lives than ever. And it's a privilege for me to be a part of such a dynamic college with such great leadership and expertise.
Great, great. Well, I appreciate those comments, and I think you boiled it all down a little bit ago about the sustainability, and that's what we're all seeking as we know the issues of our changing climate, our changing demographics, our changing relationships around the world, and how are we going to try to address some of these things that seem to be intractable. But I think with the expertise not only in our college, but when we have our arms out wide open to partnerships, as you've mentioned, you know, those are multifaceted issues that are out there, and it's going to take all of us working together. And I think that leadership that brings people together is so very, very important. So I think that at this point we need to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure to have this opportunity to chat with you today on our South Centers Chat. Hopefully we will be seeing you up on campus or back down in southeastern Ohio in the future. I know that you get around a lot, and we appreciate the support from the Dean's Office and the Vice President for Ag Administration. I think we were signing off here at this point. Thanks again.
Thanks, Dr. Worley.
All right.